Hi, welcome to Tales by Jean. Thank you for being here. In a quiet village nestled in the heart of Africa, there lived a wise father named Kwame and his two daughters, Zara and Amara. Kwame was a very hard-working man, who toiled tirelessly to provide for his family. He was usually addressed as Papa Kwame in the village. Amara, the eldest daughter, inherited her father's work ethic. She wakes up early each day, tending to the crops, fetching water, and helping neighbors. Because of this, she had a very good reputation in the village. All the mothers in the village, who had sons of marriageable age, would always want their son to marry her. Zara, on the other hand, preferred the shade of the mango tree, avoiding any form of labor. She was very lazy, vain, and irresponsible. She doesn't like to do any work and would leave all the house chores to her sister. Her days were filled with idle chatter and laughter. Her elder sister would often advise her that this life she was living would lead her to misery one day. She was known in the village as a lazy and arrogant girl who always looked down on poor people. So, no man in the village wanted to marry her. Papa Kwame, observing his daughter's choices, would often share his wisdom. "Hard work, my daughters, is the key to a fruitful life," he'd say. Amara listened attentively, while Zara dismissed his advice, believing life would provide without her making any efforts. She has always dreamed of marrying a rich man who will provide all her needs. One day, as Amara was on her way to the stream to fetch water, she met a handsome young man asking for directions to the house of the village chief. She led the young man to the house of the village chief. Before going to the stream, this young man was a wealthy and responsible farmer named Kofi. He was from the neighboring village. He had numerous farmlands, but came to the village to buy some more land. During his conversations with the village chief, he asked about the young maiden that led him to his house. The village chief told him that her name was Amara. He also told him that she was a hard-working and a respectful girl. Kofi, impressed by what he had heard and seen, explained to the village chief that he had fallen in love with Amara and would like to marry her. The village chief was happy for Amara and directed Kofi to Amara's house. Kofi went to Papa Kwame's house the next day and made his intentions of marrying his daughter Amara. Papa Kwame was happy for his daughter, as she has agreed to the marriage. A month later, Kofi came to Amara's house with his people to pay her bride price. So Amara went to live with her husband. She lived a happy married life. Her husband loved her very much as she was a very hard-working and responsible wife. Meanwhile, Zara, envious of her sister's life, decided to get a rich husband for herself. So for the first time, she decided to go to the stream to fetch water, just like her sister. She met a handsome young man on the way. He was dressed in good clothes and looked rich. Araba, thinking she had hit the jackpot, walked up to the man as he looked lost. The young man said he was called Manu and that he came to their village in search of a wife. Zara was happy to hear this. She recommended herself and told him that she was a very hard-working girl and that she was the only one taking care of her father as her sister got married some months ago. Manu was surprised by her boldness, but told her to go home and wait for him to come and pay her bride price. Araba happily went home and told her father that she was going to get married to a very wealthy man in a few days. Her father, knowing his daughter and her behavior, cautioned her that they should wait and learn more of the man she wanted to get married to. Zara dismissed her father's advice and told him that her husband-to-be was a genuine rich man. 3 days later, Manu came with his people to pay Zara's bride price. Amara also came for their father, so she can take care of him, since he will be staying all alone. So Zara journeyed with her husband to his village. During the journey, Araba noticed that the journey was long. Manu explained that he lived several villages away from her villager. A week later, Zara and Manu arrived at his village. On her way to Manu's house, she noticed that the people she met on the way were staring at her with surprise and pity. Zara smiled smugly to herself, thinking that the people were jealous of her for marrying the rich man in their village. As they continued walking, Zara noticed that Manu was leading her to a dilapidated hut with weeds all over the compound. Zara stopped Manu and asked him where he was taking her to. Manu laughed and told her that this was her new home and she should get used to it. He also said that he was tired and hungry from the journey, so she should go inside and cook for him. Zara stood in place, as this was not the luxurious life she was dreaming of. She could not accept what was happening. So, she started asking around about Manu, and what she was told shocked her even more. She got to know that Manu was not a rich man, but an idle and irresponsible man who goes about parading himself as a rich man. He was also very lazy, and relied on his late mother for everything. After his mother's death, he decided to get a wife for himself, and knowing that none of the villagers would allow him to marry their daughters, he decided to try his luck in other villages. Zara's dreams were completely shattered. Zara and Manu lived their days in hardship as they both were lazy people. They always argue and fight with each other. With every passing day, Zara regretted her decision and wished she had listened to her father's and sister's advice from the very beginning. Thanks for watching. Kindly consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Your support will mean the world to me.